उसको थर्ड बेंच मिला था, वन हु अटेंडेड फ्रॉम, नहीं who, the girl from Andhra. It was good. कुछ नहीं, कुछ it was good insight, आवाज थोड़ा कम, because you will have got an idea कि geopolitics कैसे काम करता है, how is India China का relation, you would have got a good idea regarding the subject. She got a third bench, third row में she was there. So कल कौन geography का which was the thinker sir said yesterday in geography? What? Wegener and Mackinder, right? So we'll understand now how this, what is the role of Darwin in geography, and how Mackinder, what Wegener, what is determinism, why geopolitics or ये सब. So he started with a statement कि for a country to rule anyone, or a country to be a dominant force, it should know its geography very properly. A country who does not know geography very properly can never be the force in the history. Fine? The one who will safeguard their geography will safeguard their history. फायदा ये है, चलो ऑनलाइन अगर होगा तो ऑनलाइन देख लेना, फायदा ये है, it will improve your thinking, it will improve your lateral thinking. Until the time you don't have lateral thinking, don't have different thoughts coming, UPSC is not कि वो किताब पढ़ लो, बस रट लो और हम पास हो जाएंगे. You have to develop the lateral thinking. चाहे it is geography optional, चाहे it is GS. Fine? जितना ज़्यादा lateral thinking you can develop, उतना it will be better for you. See, develop तो करना ही है. You develop in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years or 6 years. एक तो lateral thinking will develop या attempts will get over. Fine? दोनों में से एक कुछ तो होने वाला है. So the lateral thinking means you should be able to link the topics. So what did Darwin do? Darwin ka publication of the species, that is the evolution of the species, and he gave the theory of the evolution. Can someone tell me what was the Darwin ka theory of the evolution? What was Darwin ka theory? Darwin you don't know. Then survival of the fittest. Survival of the fittest by the process of natural selection. And can I say adaptation? So बाकी क्या है, डार्विन का थियरी थोड़ी पता होना चाहिए. दिस इज व्हाट डार्विनियन आइडिया, दैट इज द सर्वाइवल ऑफ द फिटेस्ट बाय द प्रोसेस ऑफ नेचुरल सिलेक्शन एडेप्टेशन. एंड बाय दिस प्रोसेस ऑफ नेचुरल सिलेक्शन एडेप्टेशन द ट्रेड्स विल कंटिन्यू which are the fittest will keep on continuing, and जो नहीं है fit they will get destroyed. डार्विन के साथ साथ the similar idea was given by Wallace. I'll give you the perfect example what is the difference between the Wallace and Darwin. Wallace said that the long neck in giraffe is because they keep on eating the leaves, and thus over the period of time their neck has got extended. This is what is the survival of the fittest. And therefore, because in the desert regions the trees may have tender leaves only at the top, and thus over the period of time certain animals will keep on eating, and thus their neck got extended till the time they became a giraffe. Darwin says no, this is wrong. There were two kinds of giraffes, one with the short neck, one with the long neck. Fine? And the short neck ka giraffe could not get adapted to the conditions, they got extinct. The long neck ka giraffe survived. Fine? अब why did long neck and short neck ka giraffe came सबसे पहले? Why there were long neck giraffe and the short neck giraffe सबसे पहले. He says that is by pure chance. There are two different gene sets. There are two different gene sets by pure chance. The gene set which cannot get adapted will get destroyed. The gene sets which will get adapted, genes का set, genes which would get adapted will be passed on from one generation to another, and thus over the period of time this is what is known as adaptation. Fine. ऐसा नहीं है कि दिमाग बहुत ज़्यादा चलाओगे तो दिमाग बहुत ज़्यादा शार्प हो जाएगा. डार्विन सेज ऐसा नहीं है. एक डम्ब है, एक दिमाग वाला है. चांस की बात है. फाइन. Why there is a dumb gene set, why there is a sharp gene set, Darwin has no answer for this, but Darwin का theory over the period of time could got explained कि how he believed that the topmost genes या topmost development of the humanity, topmost development of the world or the ecosystem is the humans, which believe there is a, which is the best of everything that earth can have. Understanding? Which is the humans are the best of everything that earth can have, and we have come through the slow process of evolution right from first life which was in the form of anaerobic bacteria inside the sea to the present life that is the humans by the process of evolution, and nature determining what shall survive and what shall not survive. And यहाँ से शुरू होता है. Thus Darwin gave the first challenge to the teleological belief that everything has been designed by the divine creator, and Darwin brought in the first scientific explanation, fine, of the fittest. But and therefore Darwin changed the scope of science. During this time there were two important thinkings. One was Darwin ka, that is the evolution, and evolution believes in the law of uniformitism, not the law of catastrophism. There will be धीरे से everything will evolve over the period of time. And दूसरा thinking in the science was cause and effect relationship. Understanding? There was a cause and effect relationship, and this came through Newton. So 1859, whether it is Darwin, whether it is the Newton, it changed the entire science, including our subject, that is the geography, right? And it changed the geography in such a way that the Darwin ka impact gave rise to a school which is known as determinism. That is how the relationship is governed by between man and nature. How the relationship is governed between man and nature, that is the school of determinism talks about the man-nature relationship, in which nature has a predetermined plan, or everything is designed by the nature. Fine? Man-nature relationship mein nature plays a more dominant role than the humans. Getting it? That is the school of determinism. Everything is determined by the nature, including the whether there will be life or not. If there is life, what kind of life will be there? If there is a character of the persons, what will be the character of the people in that region? If there is a way of living of the people, that is culture of the people, what will be the kind of culture in that region? If there is territoriality, what will be the kind of territoriality in that region? And if there is political power, what will be the kind of political power in this region? I'm not concerned about the other subject, हमारे subjects में, if there is a territorial expansion, what will be the concept and what will be the concept of political power in this nature, in this region. So you can see the school of determinism talks about man-nature relationship, not just in the terms of physical geography, but also in the terms of human geography, also in the terms of culture, also in the terms of the economic geography, and more importantly, also in the terms of the political powers or political geography. So this school of determinism, this paradigm of determinism, paradigm means a way, a change in the thought process. The paradigm of determinism was the biggest gift of Darwinism, and it was most accepted because it was very scientific, as it was based on the twin logic of cause effect given by Newton and on the basis of evolution or orderly evolution of everything which was determined by the Darwin. Nature decide कर रहा है कौन जिंदा रहेगा कौन नहीं. Human beings are not deciding it. So who is deciding? Nature. And therefore this was the school of determinism, or what is also known as environmentalism. So environmentalism, if it comes, it does not means environmental geography. Environmentalism is the new name, another name for determinism. Fine? Environmental geography is totally different. Environmentalism is determinism. That is the nature is determine everything. And in geography we will call this, or the concept of determinism in the social sciences, we will call this as social Darwinism. Fine? This is known as social Darwinism. Clear? Nature, humans. Her question is, very good question. Her question is, are human beings not a part of nature? Nature means environment. So are human beings not a part of nature? ये जो क्वेश्चन इसने पूछा अभी, have you read या खुद से ही आया है क्वेश्चन? The same question was asked by as it is. By Vidal de Lablache, the founder of positivism. He asked, that is why I asked her, have you read it? Because he asked the same question, what is environment? Environment is a mix of abiotic factors, that is sunlight, etc., soil, and the biotic factors. Biotic factors means life. When we say environment, it means biotic and abiotic factors. And biotic factors mein there is animals, birds, and humans. That is what we call as nature. Nature is a mixture of both. So positivism, Vidal de Lablache criticize करता है that how the determinism, the negative point of determinism is it separates human from nature, while human beings are themselves an integral part of the nature. Fine? And this is the famous statement of Einstein. What is environment? Means इनका कहना है, the positivism के school का, that environment is a part of human beings themselves are a part of environment. So if you are saying the environment is playing an important role, so humans are already there in the environment. When we develop as a humans, two important things are there which determine the destiny of humans. One is nature and the other is nurture, or I can say an heredity. Gene set which is natural, बाकी how you are nurtured, जिसको हम कहेंगे social environment and physical environment. Fine? So हमेशा ये confusion रहा है, which is more important, nature or nurture? परवरिश. चलो मैं उसमें जाऊंगा नहीं, बट एज पर साइकोलॉजी कोई भी स्टेटमेंट्स इन साइंसेस में जब देते हैं तो इट हैज़ टू बी बैक्ड बाय डेटा, केस स्टडीज, सैम्पल सर्वेस. सो दे विल डू सैम्पल स्टडीज ऑफ XYZ 100% ऑफ पीपल, एंड उसमें कहेंगे कि 56% में तो नर्चर ने ज़्यादा इफेक्टिव काम किया है, 44% में नेचर ने ज़्यादा इफेक्टिव काम किया है. So what is more important is still not known. So we should not give blank statements ever. But yes, it is seen that nurture plays a more important role than the nature. But you cannot ever neglect the role of a nature. I'm giving you one plant which is growing in tundra. You take care of the plant and grow it in the soil in Delhi. You are doing nurturing. रोज उसको खत दे रहे हो, पानी दे रहे हो. Can it grow in Delhi? So what plays an important role? Nature. Nature means determinism. Nurture means possibilism. That is true. That is true. So, coming to Shastriya Sangeet, say we come to the school of determinism. Determinism कहता है कि nature is more dominant. Possibilism बाद में देखेंगे. But one of the negative points of the determinism is determinism separates humans from nature, which is not there. So, is determinism important today or not? आज के इसमें what is important? Today determinism is not important or not? Is determinism has died after possibilism or determinism is still a strong school of thought? थोड़ा सोच के मुझे बताना. But I'll just give you a hint. आज भी हम कहते हैं Himalayas will protect us. Fine. Today also we say that yes, अगर इस मिट्टी का बना है तो अंदर अंदर ये होगा. For example, if a person belongs to one particular soil, that means he may be weak, he may be strong, he may be anything. Fine. So maybe lychee in Bihar and the deaths of lychee due to lychee in Bihar is an example of lack of nature. That is not determinism. That is a nurture wala debate. That is the possibilism. But to much extent, it plays an important role कि उस virus को, for that virus to come, it requires a climate which is hot and humid, which is found in the Gangetic plain. After that climate, when that virus is there, उसके बाद if the children are malnourished, then it affects them and causes the death. But malnourished children are present even in many parts of the world. But the parts which are colder, maybe that virus itself will not be present. Understanding? So, can we say determinism as such is not there? No. Determinism is still an relevant school. Possibilism is also an relevant school. But generally, what is there is no watertight compartmentalization between कि ये determinism है, ये possibilism है. There always has to be a balance between who is stronger. In some places, determinism is stronger. In some places, possibilism is stronger. Fine? So, एक flow chart अभी बना लो how we are going to study. We are going to focus on German school, deterministic mostly. अब determinism में whether the regional geography will should be studied या general geography. आज के lecture का flow chart. अब mind में flow chart होना बहुत important है. So we are going from determinism, that is Darwinism, to determinism. Determinism से we will do some examples of the determinism, and you will have to remember some points in this. After that, we will go to the American school of determinist, and then we will come to the possibilism. Fine. So this is the entire flow chart of today's lecture, and इसमें you will see sample, you will meet numerous geographers. First with Darwin. Was Darwin a geographer? Not to a correct extent, but Darwin का influence is very great in each and every science, including geography. So आज के लेक्चर के बाद यू विल बी एबल टू, आज के लेक्चर के बाद गो होम एंड लुक एट ऑल द पास्ट ईयर क्वेश्चंस. मे बी 100 वर्ड्स में लिख पाओगे, 50 वर्ड्स में लिख पाओगे या 200 वर्ड्स में लिख पाओगे, बट देयर वोंट बी अ सिंगल क्वेश्चन यू वोंट बी एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड आफ्टर टुडेज लेक्चर. फाइन. इसलिए फ्लो चार्ट इज इंपॉर्टेंट. उसके बाद क्या है, वी जस्ट हैव टू look at the words which are there. So when I say, when C. Chandrasekhar sir C. Uday Bhaskar sir said that China का geography and demography is such कि ऐसा ऐसा होगा, which school of thought he belongs to? Possibilism or determinism? Determinism. Fine? Or when you say India is a superpower because it is bounded by oceans on 3 sides, you are determinist. Fine? बहुत कम लोग हैं जो are possibilist. So origin of the species, Charles Darwin, after the death, so you the death of हम perfect example of possibilism, Japan. Death of Humboldt and Ritter. H means Humboldt, R means Ritter. Which year? 1859. Same year, publication of Charles Darwin's Origin of Species. So 1859 is a watershed year, right? Charles Darwin का publication of Origin of Species gave rise to the idea of organisms on Earth have evolved through slow process of change. And this slow process of change, remember, has not been from use. इतना डिटेल में लिखने की जरूरत नहीं, इसलिए I am giving you. The slow process of change is not due to need. Not necessarily always due to need, it is just due to chance. Slow process of change due to need was given by Lamarck, Wallace and Lamarck. Therefore, teleology as a logic could not be sustained, and hence Ritterian idea was abolished. Understanding the logic? There was no takers for Ritters now. एंड व्हाट अबाउट हम्बोल्ट? हम्बोल्ट के कोई फॉलोअर्स ही नहीं थे, उसके फॉलोअर्स ही नहीं थे। इसलिए कल जो मैं बता रहा था बार बार याद रखते जाओ छोटी छोटी चीज़ें। फाइन, हम्बोल्ट के कोई फॉलोअर्स नहीं थे एंड देयरफॉर 1859 is known as the end of whose era came to an end? रिटर एंड हम्बोल्ट का। एंड किसका एरा शुरू हुआ? डार्विन का। इसीलिए इट इज नोन एज पैराडाइम शिफ्ट। पैराडाइम शिफ्ट मीन्स सडन चेंज इन द मेजॉरिटी व्यू पॉइंट, आपका देखने का नजरिया बदल जाना। दैट इज व्हाट इज नोन एज पैराडाइम शिफ्ट। पैराडाइम का मतलब है नजरिया बदल देना। कौन से? हाँ, नो, डार्विन का थियरी वाज राइट, डार्विन वाज नॉट रॉन्ग। एक था उसी समय लैमार्क। सो लैमार्क ने कहा कि वी हैव इवॉल्व्ड, द आइडिया ऑफ इवोल्यूशन केम राइट देयर ड्यूरिंग दैट टाइम। लैमार्क सेड वी हैव इवॉल्व्ड ड्यू टू आवर नीड्स, as our needs kept on changing, therefore the things which were not needed were given away by the bodies and the things which were needed were developed by the bodies. This was Lamarck's theory. And Darwin countered that by saying it is not due to need, it is just by chance. And after chance, जो survive हो गया, वो बच गया, that is survival of the fittest. Because Darwin said कि if need was the necessary, then tell in humans why there is still appendix. In humans, why appendix is still there? Do you need appendix? No. Do you need appendix? I know, I guess everyone knows that appendix is not needed for us. You do not need wisdom tooth. Still, it is there. So, ये इसलिए Darwin was ruling the world that time. In the, whether it is the English world or whether it is the German world. Fine. Now his next question is English में क्यों और कोई theorist नहीं था? See, English, the England that time, you will understand it later on. England that time was busy and geography या कोई भी science was in crisis period. I will tell you the situation of England in 1950s. It was busy with industrial revolution. Secondly, it was busy with geography. In geography there was taught by two people. See, understand, इस समय the geography was 1850s वैसे was the time of independence या colonialism? Colonialism. Fine. And therefore, which were the colonial nations? कौन से थे colonial powers? France and Britain. Britain and France mostly. Germany भी था, but सबसे ज़्यादा था France, Britain, Spain. So colonial powers जो थे, you have to understand the linkages. So जो colonial powers थे उसमें वहाँ पे focus of geography in that countries shifted again to map making, cartography, discovery of new places. Those started becoming geographers. So research कहीं नहीं हो रहा था. Research कहाँ हो रहा था? Only in Germany. Fine. Imagine the world in 1850s. England wants to become a colonial power, France wants to become a colonial power, and hence उन्होंने कहा geographers को theory बियरी मत करना, हमें बताना इंडिया को कैसे जाना है, how to reach India, how to reach China, how to reach different parts of the world, what do you get there, tea है तो how to bring there. So they were busy there. Fine. India, China were busy in fighting उनका medieval period का times. That was a medieval period का times. बाकी कौन था? Japan itself was a colonial power. Fine. China was ruled, India was ruled, Africa हमसे भी खराब situation, बचता ही क्या ना, एक था जर्मनी, रशिया था, बट दे विल राइट इन रशियन. इफ जर्मन कुड नॉट बी अंडरस्टूड इन स्पाइट ऑफ सो मच एडवांसमेंट, सो रशियन तो और कम माइनॉरिटी लोग बोलते हैं, कौन पढ़ाई करेगा रशियंस की. सो रशियंस का कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन नहीं है, फाइन. एंड रशिया इटसेल्फ इज सो वाइड कि उनको कॉलोनियलिज्म की जरूरत ही नहीं. वो अंडरस्टैंडिंग रशिया, देयर इज नो नीड ऑफ कॉलोनियलिज्म. इफ रशिया कैन मैनेज इट्स ओन बाउंड्रीज, दैट विल बी सिमिलर टू कॉलोनियलिज्म. रशिया इज सो बिग, फाइन. सो this where, and therefore what was happening in geography आगे है ये today's lecture only. In geography, especially in England and France, physical geography was taught by geologists and human geography was taught by historians. Understanding? And therefore geography did not develop. So what happened, 1856 तक most of the Oxford University में 2 बच्चे बचे थे ज्योग्राफी लेने वाले. There are only 2 people in the Oxford University who took geography. कैम्ब्रिज ने बंद कर दिया था because इतना disinterested में जियोलॉजिस्ट इज कमिंग एंड टेलिंग यू ऑल अबाउट रॉक्स एक्सेट्रा. उसके बाद नेक्स्ट लेक्चर है ह्यूमन ज्योग्राफी का, जिसमें हिस्ट्री टीचर इज कमिंग यू एंड टेलिंग यू हाउ रोमन्स एक्सेट्रा विल बी देयर. देयर इज नो थिंकिंग till the time Mackinder became the chair of Oxford University. That is why I took the name of the Mackinder. Understanding? Till the time Mackinder became the chair of Oxford University, and hence it changed. And why could Mackinder change it? Because Mackinder was a student of geography, a student of history. He had studied 3 subjects and student of law. उस समय और क्या चाहिए? If you are having the knowledge of history, geography and law, right, you are the most dangerous person. You can tell by geography कौन से country को invade करना है. You can tell by history how many invasions are there, and you can determine वहाँ पे fundamental rights देनी चाहिए कि नहीं. That was the era of colonialism, and therefore Mackinder was helpful in UK becoming the superpower. See, इसलिए मैं बोल रहा था कि who attended yesterday, because there was too much reference to geography teacher and Mackinder. मीन्स एक जगह मैं उठ के जा रहा था तो सर सेड, ज्योग्राफी वाले कहाँ भाग के जा रहे हो, बैठो तुम्हारी ज़रूरत है यहाँ. And you would have got an idea, चलो you don't attend, so there was no need वैसे, but you will get an idea today itself what is Mackinder. Fine. So teleology could not be sustained, hence the Rhetorian idea was abolished. So it was an end of era in geography and resulted into crisis in identity of geography. So the question is, why there was crisis in geography? Why there was crisis in geography? And just go back to past knowledge. Again, I am stressing the same points, though it may sound repetitive. In this part, if a question is asked on X, Y, Z thing, you have to start your answer with what was the condition before X, Y, Z thing. So if the question is asked why there was a paradigm shift in geography with the publication of or with their evolution of social determinism, you have to tell why there was a crisis in geography. If a question is asked in geography regarding optional mein ki write a short note on determinism, you have to start with why there is a crisis in geography. and why there was in crisis in geography, इसके लिए ये important है. And death of Humboldt, Ritter, Darwin and this. मैं इसलिए डिक्टेट नहीं कर रहा हूँ बिकॉज जैसे यूज करना है इस नॉलेज को वैसे यूज करो. ट्राई टू फ्रेम इन योर ओन लैंग्वेज. फाइन. सो coming to yesterday's lecture, I hope you understood that Ritter, Humboldt and Kant said geography is a science. Why it is a science? Not because it can make general laws, not because it can make XYZ things, but because it tries to study the interdependence between the different phenomena, right? Unity of whole. Second, to prove that geography is a science, the focus of both Humboldt and Ritter, forget Kant, shifted on systematic geography, that is physical geography rather than human geography. Though the perspective of Humboldt was systematic, that is the systematic geography. Again I will repeat, thoda galat. To prove that it is a science, the focus of both Kant and Ritter shifted towards physical geography. Fine? Human geography pe nahi, physical geography. Only there was a viewpoint ki Humboldt used to believe the systematic geography jo hai, that is the physical geography should be studied systematically. Ritter ka thoda approach tha regional, but dono used to study the physical geography. And therefore geography came back as a science. But with their death, वो इतने हाई फाई कंसेप्ट्स कोई समझ नहीं पा रहा था. सेकेंडली, विद द पब्लिकेशन ऑफ डार्विन का ओरिजिन ऑफ स्पीसीज gave birth to numerous subjects such as zoology, botany, planetology, climatology, ecology. The thing which was studied by geography earlier as a single subject now got divided into different subjects, and therefore people started asking what is the utility of geography. Getting it? And then geography again started becoming reduced into map making rather than studying why there is a life, why there are mountains, why there are everything, because everything has been done on in the different subjects. Because there was a crisis period in geography, geography as a science, geography as a subject, there was a crisis period in geography. Some of the geographers, to prove that it is a science, started making general laws. एक general application of the laws. And to make general application of the laws, they started applying Charles Darwin का origin of species to geography. And this can be seen in different ways in the terms of the biggest influence W.M. Davis in North America, in USA, evolution of the landforms. Fine? Or in Germany, in the terms of Ratzel, concept of organic state. Or in Britain, the concept of Mackinder, how a country can become a political power. Or in economics, the concept of economic geography, how XYZ resources, if they are present in the region, then how you will put industries in that region, and after putting the industries, how the economic development of the region will be there. That is Weber's economic triangle. For example, if this is a market, if this is the source of raw material, and if this is the source of labor, इन तीनों में से इंडस्ट्री मार्केट के पास होनी चाहिए या रॉ मटेरियल के पास या लेबर के पास. जनरलाइजेशन है ये. आयरन एंड स्टील इंडस्ट्री यहाँ होने दो, ऑटोमोबाइल इंडस्ट्री है तो यहाँ आने दो. फिर जनरलाइजेशन से वेट लूजिंग इंडस्ट्री नियर द रॉ मटेरियल, वेट गेनिंग इंडस्ट्री नियर द मार्केट. फाइन. एंड if the industry is labor intensive industry, then it should be located in the regions which have surplus labor. This is what is science. Generalization of the laws. XYZ is the industry. You just have to classify your industry is falling in this category or this category. And uske baad Weber has given you where to put the industries. Fine. Or Patrick Geddes was another influencer geography who tried to influence the geography in the terms of urbanization, because Patrick Geddes was a sociologist by thinking, and therefore he took evolution theory of Darwin into urban geography in the terms of hamlet. Hamlet will get converted into village. Village will get converted into town. Town will get converted into polis. Polis will get converted into metropolis. Metropolis will get converted into very big city, megalopolis. And ultimately it will get converted into necropolis. Hamlet, very small settlement of 5 to 10 houses. Village उससे बड़ा. Town, municipality. आज भी हम पैट्रिक गेडेस के वर्ड यूज करते हैं, मेट्रो, मेगा सिटी. एंड लास्टली उसने कहा था, after megalopolis, if the city still keeps on continuing, then there will be traffic jams, crime, pollution, etc., which will result into death of a city. Or death matlab necropolis. No, India में necropolis is Kolkata, which will soon become a necropolis. Delhi is will be the future financial capital of India, leaving behind Mumbai. Because Mumbai does not have space. Delhi has a space. Yes, Delhi NCR. Unless Mumbai, Pune, Nasik triangle becomes a reality. जो दिखता नहीं है, because central government and funds are available at Delhi. Which, yes. The only thing that will keep Mumbai ahead of Delhi is nearness to the coast, which will be reduced by bullet train. See, today it has gone from Mumbai to Ahmedabad. Next is Ahmedabad to Jaipur, Jaipur to Delhi. So ultimately bullet train will come from Mumbai to Delhi. Fine? Delhi is going to be the most important city of India in the future. Only thing which will hold Delhi back is crime, understanding, and security issues. Pollution, 3-4 साल में, let electric vehicles come. There will be no major issue of pollution. Connaught Place is more costly than you should know. Connaught Place is more costly than London and New York. The rental prices of the Connaught Place is more costly than London and New York. New York ka bhi, except for the Manhattan area. The most costly office space in the world is number 1 Nariman Point. Second is Connaught Place. Tokyo, Beijing, Shanghai have gone behind. Living cost ज़्यादा है. Right? So this is what is Darwin. Fine? So you can see our subject has drastically changed. वही नहीं, Davis, urban geography, economic geography, and this thing. Fine? So why there was a crisis in geography? Because point number 1 is the subject which was earlier classified as as general geography. As general geography now became divided into the domains, now became divided into the domains of now became divided into the domains of physical sciences and natural sciences. Physical sciences and natural sciences now became divided into the domain of physical sciences, physics, chemistry, etc. Natural sciences, botany, zoology, medicine, etc. Same point. This argument during the period of Humboldt, had been resolved when Humboldt pointed out that general geography studies what is not a field of study of any of sciences. What is a field of study of, what is not a field of study of any of sciences, which means that is interconnections between them. ये था सबसे स्ट्रॉन्ग पॉइंट ऑफ हम्बोल्ट, एंड नोबडी यूज्ड टू आर्ग्यू विथ हम्बोल्ट दैट टाइम. किसी ने कहा ज्योग्राफी साइंस है या आर्ट्स है? साइंस है. कैसे साइंस है बताओ? व्हाट यू स्टडीइंग? हम वो पढ़ते हैं जो और तुम में से कोई नहीं पढ़ता. दैट इज हाउ zoology इज रिलेटेड टू बॉटनी, हाउ बॉटनी इज रिलेटेड टू soil, how soil is related to climate. Fine. Now you must be wondering, क्या फर्क पड़ता है had geography been classified as arts? Why there is so much fight going on कि whether geography is a science or not? Fine. What is the entire argument? Whether geography is a science or not. So चलो अगर ऐसे होता geography is not a science, क्या फर्क पड़ता? What would have happened that time? Are there no history? Is there no political science? Is there no sociology? Humboldt would have said geography is not a science. छोड़ो, क्या करना है कर लो. Subject would not have evolved, because after the Renaissance in Europe till 1850s 1890s सब इतने पागल हो रहे थे for science. Industrial revolution, discovery of steam engine, discovery of automobiles, discovery of planes, discovery of anything that was not scientific was not accepted. Fine. Whatever survived that period was the original subjects. So mother of humanities, political science. History is as old as civilization. Fine. Sociology, ये तीन survive कर गए. Public administration was closed, and looking at the field of public administration, the geography भी बंद होने वाला था, and Humboldt had tried to fight this. Getting it? Public administration got new subject when Woodrow Wilson became the president of USA. Then only PubAd was taken as a new subject. Understanding? So same thing was going to be happening with geography. Next, this interconnections makes systematic geography holistic. Systematic geography means world geography or regional geography? World geography. Systematic geography, holistic. Holistic because unlike science, which works on first isolating a phenomena and then formulating an ideal model. This is what I told you yesterday. क्या है geography, science? Isolate a phenomena and then एक theory बनाओ, which will be ideal. Geography is the only science which works in real life situations. With domains of separate sciences. Within the domains of separate sciences. This is what is the contribution of the Humboldt. Should I repeat again? Geography is the only science which works in real life situation with the domains of other sciences. But ये आर्ग्यू करने वाला कोई था? कोई नहीं था. Therefore, soon geography went into crisis after Humboldt and Ritter. Understanding? Because and then (1871) unification of Germany. and revival of geography. Revival of geography. Understand the linkages. With the unification of Germany, the kingdom became, empire became very powerful. As the empire became very powerful, they started capturing new places. As they started capturing new places, they wanted to understand the new people, new phenomena, new places, and therefore they encouraged geographers. But geography to be scientific in nature, जो नए जोग्राफर्स आए उनके ऊपर वो घाव था कि हमारा सब्जेक्ट को it was neglected. They were in that trauma that our subject was neglected, and to remove that trauma they started focusing on physical geography only, because only in the physical geography you can make laws, and therefore यहाँ से शुरू होता है dualism in geography. Understanding? अभी तक तो सब नॉर्मल था, यहाँ से शुरू होता है dualism in geography, because after the revival of geography the focus was only on the physical geography, giving rise to the next thinkers questioning whether the physical geography is important or human geography is important. So dualism in geography. Now when you were studying the physical geography, you will be more interested in nature rather than people, and this gave rise to second dualism in geography, that is determinism versus possibilism. Getting it? And when you are studying the geography, कितना आप पढ़ सकते हो depends upon the sources, whether you can study the entire world or you will study the regional parts. This gave rise to third geography, dualism in geography, that is regional geography versus general geography. That is the importance of this. Fine? So कैसे आया dualism in geography? How will you start your answer? Death of Humboldt and Ritter was a crisis period in geography, which was coincided with the publication of Darwin's Species, and therefore the further revival in geography gave rise to जो क्वेश्चन पूछा है उसके ऊपर dualism in geography in the form of systematic or regional geography, in the form of human geography or physical geography, in the form of determinism or possibilism. Fine? To some extent. Clear? Getting it? Conclusion. Yes. Humboldt Ritter भी यही कहते थे और लेटेस्ट जोग्राफर हार्टशन भी यही कहता है. This is how you should conclude your answer. You have to. That is why we have wasted 2 days for this. Understand? अगर नहीं होता तो I would not have taken it. Fine? अब इसके बाद no need of dictating this. Fine? Next. As the academic discipline revived, the geography was faced with 3 major challenges. Geography was faced with 3 major challenges. First, continued collection of knowledge about not knowledge, of facts about Earth, unknown parts. इस सब्जेक्ट को हम कहते हैं कार्टोग्राफी, एटलस बनाने के काम आता है. फाइन. Continued collection of unknown parts. Second, detailed study of particular places to help business and strategic interests. And third, formulation of concepts about variations of phenomena on Earth's surface through generalizations. Fine. These were the three major challenges before geography. They should continue on collecting the facts. It was discarded. Ritter had much earlier said geography is not just about collection of facts. Second, if you read that line properly, is nothing but regional geography. Detailed study of particular phenomena for business and strategic interest. And third is the general geography, that is the physical geography. Fine. एक important चीज याद रखना. This is happening in 1870s and 1871 में 1871-72 में one very important thing happened is Cuba. Cuba was ruled by Spanish people and American smugglers to the Cuba were taken up by the Spanish as a prisoners. America protested, 1870s की बात हो रही है, America protested and America protested that release them, but Cuba ने उसी दिन शाम को, means after 2-3 days when the America lodged a protest, they killed them. Fine. Spanish people killed them, there was no Cuba. Spanish people killed them. The smugglers were prosecuted, executed. This resulted in, remember that time America is not a powerful nation. This resulted in America questioning uska strategy. What is the use of so big land if we cannot protect a small citizens of ours? Smugglers the, but they were American citizens. Remember this. And this resulted into one of the biggest theories which changed everything, the theory of Mahan. Fine? The theory of Mahan said that first I am asking you, this all is geographical thought only. What is wealth? What do you mean by wealth? Tell me, what is wealth? A country has. Whatever context you want to tell me what is wealth. Huh? How is the body wealth? Tell me, how is your body wealth? Collection of assets. So Mahan कहता है wealth means anything जिससे आप आपका influence और power बढ़ा सकते हो. Fine? Wealth means anything by which a person can, person से he went to country, he is giving in the context of America. A country can influence उसका power as well as influence, increase उसका strategic interest as well as influence. It can increase the influence by giving subsidies, it can increase the influence by giving rations, and it can increase uska power by increasing the military presence. And he says wealth does not means production. ये हम बाद में लिखेंगे, I am just telling you something so that you can understand the linkages. He says production means anything. The production can be used for sustaining oneself. The production can be used to increase the influence. When the production can be used to increase the influence, then only it is known as wealth. So production to be translated into wealth has to be given the angle of trade. And when production matches with the trade, that is what is known as wealth. Understanding why America became a capitalist nation. Because production था उसके पास. महान कहता है, if you are not trading your produce, you are not a wealthy nation. If you are not a wealthy nation, you will be subjected to such conditions very near in the future. आज तो सिर्फ हमारे बोट पे अटैक हुआ है, कल अपने बॉर्डर्स पे अटैक होगा, फिर पूरे अमेरिका पे अटैक होगा. So start changing the way of thinking. And thus America started doing trade and started establishing navy and military to capture the other nations, and thus America started rising as a power. Getting it? Mahan will say, if you want to rise as a power, there has to be military, there has to be navy, both. Fine, I will come to that when we will do Mackinder. Understanding the relationship of Mahan and the second point. Detailed study of particular places to help businessman and strategic interest. Mahan ka idea. And general geography. I will require Mahan, I will require Mackinder in Indian Geography paper 2. Fine? Because if you are protecting India-China ka border by increasing the army, you are following Mackinder. If you are protecting India-China ka border issues by increasing the navy, you are following Mahan. Mahan says navy should be strong. Mackinder says army should be strong. Sir supported that because he was basically that my question to him was, if we cannot match, Mackinder has failed in the recent times. Why Mackinder has failed? Mackinder says about army, Mackinder इसलिए failed है because today is the day of intercontinental ballistic missiles, Air Force. So Himalayas are no longer a barrier. Fine? A Sukhoi can easily cross the Himalaya, bomb India and go back within seconds. So I asked him, should we re-strategize our interest? Ki we should make navy very strong so that we can counter China. Fine? So he said that yes, navy should be stronger, but how can you make navy strong with only 13% of defense allocation? But right now there is no time for navy to be stronger, because if you start making navy stronger, China will get insecure. And as the China will get insecure, जब भी हमने China को insecurity बढ़ाई है, China has always attacked us or hit us or has given us some answers. Right now हम answers afford नहीं कर सकते, because look at the size of our economy and look at the size of China's economy, $15 trillion plus. Fine? Even with US, can we not make China insecure? No. US and China in the past have been friends. अभी they have been enemy and दोनों देश ऐसे है कि for strategic interest they can change their friendships anytime. It is not Russia and India. ये डूबते हुए भी वो अपनी दोस्ती निभाएंगे. India and China and USA are very very practical. They have been best of the friends. They have become enemies and again they can become best of the friends. हाँ, because but situation है. Russia is no longer a power. To contain China, you have to be friend of USA. चाइना इज हम यहाँ पे नेवल और मिलिट्री पावर की बात कर रहे हैं. चाइना हैज गॉन इनटू स्पेस मिसाइल्स, स्पेस पावर. एंड देन ही सेड कि the only hope for India is artificial intelligence. Now you see, that is why sometimes these ideas are good for such seminars, because these are the people who are working with government. He is the chief of IDSA, the defense think tank of India. So what he is saying, we are developing the artificial intelligence, and if we are successful, artificial intelligence will be developed in India and USA in such a way that there is no need of warfare only. You change the mind of Chinese president only through artificial intelligence. Yes, China is also working on that. That is going to be the future. You change the mind only. Yes, that is what he said. Research and development में ही इंडिया ने खर्चा करना चाहिए. Fine. Next point. And therefore, this led to the rise of dualism between physical and human regional geography. Dualism between human regional geography. Human regional geography. There was also an undercurrent of dichotomy between determinism and possibilism. Undercurrent of dichotomy between determinism and possibilism. Next point. Yes. Dualism means एक ही सब्जेक्ट में दो streams. Dualism, two ways of thinking. Dichotomy means one which is exactly opposite to the other. Dualism में duplicacy can exist. Dichotomy में totally opposite है. Next point. The outcome of Darwin's was seen on different branches of geography. The outcome of Darwin's thought or influence, the outcome of Darwin's influence was seen on different branches of geography. With subject becoming tilted towards determinism and general geography. Subject becoming tilted towards determinism and physical geography. Can you correlate the 2 points? There was a dualism. उसके बाद science कैसे बचेगा subject? If you can make general laws, can you make general laws on humans? No. Human nature by itself cannot be predicted. So physical geography. Can you make general laws on positivism? No, but determinism. Fine. Next point. Impact on geomorphology. Impact on geomorphology was applied by W.M. Davis. So, वो ऊपर के point का भी है, it is continuation on different parts and फिर हर एक part पे was applied by W.M. Davis in geographical evolution of what? Landforms passing through stages of youth, mature and old age. Got it? Fine. Impact on human geography. Ratzel, the strongest supporter of Darwin. Strongest supporter of Darwin. Applied the ideas of Darwin to human groups. Applied the idea of Darwin, evolution, to human groups known as social Darwinism. So, question agar aata hai, write a short note on social Darwinism. Whom you are going to write? You are going to write Ratzel. Social Darwinism. Fine. You rise to social Darwinism, in which he equated how physical environment influences humans. Physical environment influences humans. Full stop. Social Darwinism was further developed by sample, SEMPLE sample, Ellen Semple in USA, when she said man is the product of earth. When she said man is the product of earth's surface. And by Huntington, Huntington, एल्सवर्थ हंटिंगटन, उस ब्रैकेट में लिखो उसका फेमस बुक Civilization and Climate. In which he proposed that best civilizations can develop only in stimulating climates of Europe. Best civilizations can develop only in the stimulating climates of Europe. ये सबसे पहले कहा था एरिस्टोटल ने. I'll come to that later on. And the heat of tropics, make the people in those regions lazy and poor. Fine. सबसे पहले एरिस्टोटल ने कहा था, एरिस्टोटल had said that cold climate makes the people weaker, physically weak, and because they are physically weak, but because they have to survive in the cold climate, they will develop themselves to be strong. So they will become, by physical exercises, stronger. Because they are becoming strong, they will become stronger. They will rule the world. Right? Understanding? They are born weak. Because you are born weak, you will work yourself to become strong. Because you will work yourself to become strong, you will be born to rule. On the other hand, he said, Asian people are born physically superior, biologically superior. But because they have same type of climate, they have strength. But uska famous hai, Asians have, especially Indians have strength but no soul. Matlab they have the physical strength but they don't have inner strength. And because they do not have inner strength, they will always be under slavery. Understanding? And fear he directs the people of Europe to go capture Asians because वो काम कर सकते हैं बहुत, and rule them and make them work for your progress. And then हर एक को लगता है अपना घर अच्छा है. So according to Aristotle, the best climate was of Greece. According to Huntington, the best climate was of America. According to Semple, the best climate was of Germany. सिर्फ reference change हो रहा है. Fine? Getting it? Next point. Impact on human geography में. Sorry. Next point. I'll change the impact on political geography. Ratzel applied the Darwinian concept of evolution Ratzel applied the Darwinian concept of evolution to the nation or state according to him, to the nation or state, according to him, just like organisms, nations में grow or die, but cannot stand still. You cannot be in only one position. You may either grow or you may either die. Fine? Fine? So अगर आपको grow करना है तो कैसे grow करोगे state को? So, therefore, continue, therefore, the stronger states should expand their territories at the expense of weaker nations or weaker neighbors. Should expand their territories at the expense of weaker nations. At the expense of weaker nations. And this is the way of self-actualization and the reflection of inner strength. Self-actualization and the reflection of inner strength. You already know, this idea led to the Second World War. Fine? How to show that country is powerful. How to show that you are internally powerful? By capturing smaller nations. Fine? Thought है वो, अभी अच्छा बुरा depends upon your outcome. Had there not been Second World War, Russia, USA के बदले Germany dominate करता. USA dominating the world is much better than Germany or China dominating the world. It is an outcome. So it is not science, कि positive है या negative है. USA चाहे कितना भी बुरा हो, if it is dominating the world, it is much better than China or Germany dominating the world, because USA respects dissent. USA respects the multiculturalism. China does not respect that. USA respects democracy. China does not respect that. Imagine had India been a French power, French colonial country instead of Britain colonial country. Gandhi ji ko South Africa mein hi maar dete. Fine? He never would have come to India and do satyagraha and this thing. No Gandhi ji, nothing. No dissent. वो तो ब्रिटिश थे कि चलो सुनते गए, फिर गांधी जी और बड़े होते गए और सुनते गए, फिर ऐसे लगा नहीं हमें भी राइट्स देनी चाहिए, पार्लियामेंट भी सुनता था हमारी बातें. हिस्ट्री को कोरिलेट करो. Otherwise, who was Gandhi? Gandhi was a single person. He would have shot. It took Indian only to kill a Gandhi, not Britishers. So ये है, right? So you can always say it in hindsight. You never know क्या होता. People say if Subhash Chandra Bose would have been successful, so we never know what would have happened. Instead of Nehru, Bose, ये तो सब hindsight में अच्छा लगता है, बातें आज करना. ये कैसे पता होगा इसका impact क्या होगा? That time तो there was no technology. आज भी they are growing. आज भी Radzil है. The only thing is they are not capturing it. But trade grow कर रहा है. You are not becoming colonial. It is imperialism. Imperialism and colonialism में क्या फर्क है? Imperialism में you become a slave without giving your political identity. Neo-colonialism. So आज ये जो इंडिया चाइना का ट्रेड डिफिसिट कितना है? $53 billion trade deficit. $53 billion. See? Yes, yes. Human rights वो सब इतने strong हो गए कि they will say okay we are not going to conquer, but हमारा ही chief होना चाहिए, हमारा ही कंपनीज आनी चाहिए, हमारे यहाँ जो नहीं सुनते फिर अमेरिका है ही इराक एंड ईरान करने के लिए. फाइन. सो सी ह्यूमन बींग्स विल ऑलवेज लाइक डोमिनेंस एंड इसीलिए ऑलवेज इन द वर्ल्ड कैपिटलिज्म विल बी सक्सेसफुल. दो आइडिया सोशलिज्म एंड मार्क्सिज्म इज वेरी गुड, बट ऑलवेज यू लाइक डोमिनेंस. वेदर इट इज ऑन द रोड, वेदर इट इज इन द हाउस, human beings by nature wants dominance because survival of the fittest. If you don't dominate, Darwin कहता है you will get extinct, right? Other will dominate you. So first Radzil. Second point, similarly Mackinder and Spikeman determined the political power of a nation. Determined the political power of a nation. Sorry. Mackinder and Spikeman said that political power of a nation is determined by their geographical location. Is determined by their geographical location. By their geographical location. Fine. So this is what is in heartland and rimland theories. In heartland and rimland theories. In heartland and rimland theories. Determinism hai? Yes. Your geography determines your geopolitical importance. Your geopolitical importance determines your power and influence. This is what is the impact of Darwin. Fine? See, regarding human nature of dominance, a very good example. Before coming to today's class, I was talking to one of the famous teachers of sociology. He has taken a Mercedes Benz को 67 lakhs का मॉडल. I said, बेस्ट है आप क्लास में कब लेके आओगे, मैं भी चलूँगा. बोलता नहीं क्लास में तो मैं स्विफ्ट डिज़ायर से ही आऊँगा. मैंने क्यों, फिर ली क्यों? कहा अच्छा नहीं लगेगा, मैं मार्क्स पढ़ा रहा हूँ और मर्सिडीज बेंज से उतर रहा हूँ. फाइन. So this is what is the human. So the so-called leftist ideology wale teacher, fine. So this is what is the human dominance. Yes, the same thing is there. Yes, evolution say. You draw quickly this diagram. Rimland should be the blue area. रिमलैंड स्पाइकमैन ने दिया था, मैकेंडर ने हार्टलैंड दिया था. Both of them belong to Anglo-American school. I'll tell you what is this. Have you finished drawing this? क्विक, बाद में ये डायग्राम थोड़ा चेंज होगा, बट इस क्वेश्चन के लिए इनफ. आई विल गिव यू क्वेश्चन भी, ये कौन सा आएगा, बस ये क्वेश्चन प्रिपेयर करके जाना है इसमें से. फाइन, शैल आई कंटिन्यू? मैकेंडर was British, fine. Spikeman was American, Mahan was American, and both of them belong to Anglo-American school, because geopolitics में England and America is taken as the same country, fine. बिकॉज इंग्लैंड की कॉलोनी है अमेरिका. जियोपॉलिटिक्स में अमेरिका विल नेवर गो अगेंस्ट इंग्लैंड. रेस एक्सेट्रा इज सेम, क्वीन इज सेम, ओरिजिन इज सेम, एंड देयरफॉर दे विल ऑलवेज ट्राई टू मेंटेन इंग्लिश डोमिनेंस इन द वर्ल्ड. नाउ ब्रिटिश था द मैकेंडर, एंड ही वांटेड टू मेंटेन अबाउट द डोमिनेंस ऑफ द वर्ल्ड. He came much later than Mahan. I told you much earlier that Mahan talks about naval supremacy. Fine. So Mackinder ने जब कहा, देखा कि what are the English colonies, he saw that English से ज़्यादा strong navy was of Napoleon, that is the French, and still English was the power where the sun will never set. That is which had maximum number of colonies. So he came with the theory that no, naval power is not important, it is the land power which is important, army which is more important. And सबसे ज़्यादा army means land. Land is more important than army means land. Navy means sea. Army is more important than navy. And because सबसे ज़्यादा land is where? Russia. Fine. And therefore all the areas which are protected from the sea, which are, so उसने कहा, he considered that कहाँ से अटैक हो सकता है इन द हार्टलैंड. हार्टलैंड हैज इट्स ओन बैरियर्स कि देयर आर माउंटेन्स ऑफ स्कैंडिनेविया, नॉर्वे एक्सेट्रा. दिस रीजन इज अ कोल्ड डेजर्ट, दिस रीजन इज अ कोल्ड डेजर्ट. फाइन. दिस रीजन अगेन इज माउंटेनियस, पैसिफिक रिंग ऑफ फायर. दिस इज माउंटेनियस, इंडिया. सो ही सेड दिस इज लाइक अ नेचुरल फोर्ट, नेचर का फोर्ट है रशिया एंड साइबेरिया, यूरेशिया रीजन. Fine, which is having maximum number of resources, rich in coal, rich in petrol, rich in iron ore, steppe, one of the largest grasslands of the world, and therefore it is extremely rich in resources. And because it is rich in resources, as per the organic evolution of the state, this will start growing. कैसे ग्रो करेगा? इट विल फर्स्ट कैप्चर स्कैंडिनेवियन कंट्रीज, इट विल कैप्चर ईस्ट यूरोपियन कंट्रीज. यही यूएसएसआर ने किया था. इट स्टार्टेड कैप्चरिंग ईस्ट यूरोपियन कंट्रीज एंड देन लेटर ऑन इट विल कीप ऑन कैप्चरिंग एशिया. बट वो इंडिया को कभी कैप्चर नहीं करेगा बिकॉज इंडिया एक्ट्स एज अ नेचुरल डिफेंस टू रशिया. अंडरस्टैंडिंग? सो इंडिया एंड रशिया विल ऑलवेज बी फ्रेंड्स, no matter what their situation is, because India is a buffer state for this thing. Russia will come till Afghanistan, Russia will come till Eastern Europe, and वहाँ से influence करना शुरू करेगा Western Europe को. And therefore heartland theory so it will never capture India, it will never capture China, because India China are buffer. उसके बाद उसके borders है, natural borders है, mountains, Himalayas, etc. The only weak point of heartland is this region, which is very flat. Fine. England, France, Germany, etc. So if you want to attack the heartland, you can attack it from here. And because the heartland ka this is the weakest part, therefore this is the strongest defense sector of the heartland. Understanding? Heartland ka darwaza kahan se hai? Which is the weakest part to go inside Russia. You cannot go it from any of this part. This is protected very properly by nature. You can go only from Europe. And because of this, Russia will always try to strengthen uska entry points. That is by capturing East European nations. And dhire dhire coming till West European nations. And ultimately till UK, France, etc. Because it does not have to worry, iske baad there is USA. Fine? So as a result of this, Mackinder suggested that UK should become very, very strong power to stop the advances of the heartland. And this resulted into formation of a grouping which you today known as NATO. North Atlantic Treaty Organization. All these countries are the members of NATO. Fine? But over the period of time as we developed, बहुत चीज़ें सामने आई. First was geography, that Russia is populated only in this region. Russia may be very vast, but it is not powerful because यहाँ पे it is extremely extreme climate and therefore not populated. So ये strength नहीं है उसका. Second, Russia इतना बड़ा है कि you cannot easily move forces from here to here in case of any problem. Fine? So what USA started doing, USA started entering in alliance with Japan. Fine? USA already has NATO here, USA started entering in alliance with Japan, and USA captured only one country in the entire history, that is Philippines. Getting it? USA ka only one colony is there, that is the Philippines, so that it can start puncturing the heartland. But later on we realized that we overestimated the powers of Russia. Russia is not powerful jitna dikhta hai because uska geography itself is the weakness. Russia itna bada hai by size कि रशिया कैनॉट कंट्रोल उसका टेरिटोरियल इंटीग्रिटी, एंड जितना रशिया बड़ा होगा बाय साइज, द एज इट कीप्स ऑन एक्सपांडिंग बाय साइज, रशिया will keep on collapsing. Why? Because strength can be maintained only if there is centralized power, and the centralized power can work only if the country is smaller. Understanding? Not if the country is so big. Fine? And then how to break down the centralized power of Russia is bring in the winds in the name of democracy. So the idea of democracy started coming up. And जैसे रशिया डेमोक्रेटिक होने की बात कर रहा था, रशिया USSR started collapsing and it became Russia. So उसके अच्छे अच्छे जो rich resources थे, the regions of USSR which were very rich in resources, Hungary is broken, Belarus is broken, Ukraine is broken. बचता है only powerful Russia. Rest here there is nothing. Fine? अब the next focus shifted on the regions, that is the rimland, and इसीलिए Russia started to capture Afghanistan etc. Focus was on the rimland. जिसने कहा Spikeman. Spikeman said that history has shown one who had naval supremacy had the superiority, because they came to understand there are limitations to the army. They came to understand in the regions of intercontinental ballistic missiles etc. army cannot be that powerful. So navy, and therefore he said forget about heartland, it is the focus on the rimland. Fine? So this blue region is the rimland. One who controls rimland will control the heartland as well as destiny of the world, because they control the world trade, and Mahan ki idea, trade into production is wealth, and wealth is power. Understanding? So this all is determinism. Getting it? नहीं समझ में आया? Got it? Why trade? Trade की बात होती है. You control heartland, you control rimland. When you control rimland, you control world trade. And if you control world trade, you rule the destinies of the world. Because one who has trade will always will have wealth. Production तो बहुत countries के पास है. It is the trade जो कर सकता है. They are wealthy. Fine? So yesterday, as he said, one of the biggest challenge of the 21st century, and that is why our subject was being referred again and again, it is because of these theories. The biggest challenge of the 21st century is, coming century is by 45 to 47, China will be the #1 economically rich country in the world, GDP. Wise, China will be the #1 country. Fine? And that is for the first time in the world, the most rich nation will not be the most powerful nation in the terms of military power. Understanding who is the richest nation today? Russia, USA. Who is the most powerful in the terms of military power? USA. आज से 10-15 साल बाद देखो, who is going to be the #1 in the terms of GDP? China. And who will still be the biggest military power? USA. And वहाँ से प्रॉब्लम शुरू हो जाएगा कि मिलिट्री होनी चाहिए if you want to do the trade. And that is why China is doing so much in the terms of military. इसलिए China अपना power बढ़ा रहा है. Even in the heartland region, one belt initiative. Even in the rimland region, one road initiative. Understanding? This is the new heartland and rimland. One road initiative. String of pearls, one road initiative is the control on rimland. One belt initiative is the control on heartland. Fine? It is because we have failed ourselves as a democracy. Corruption, unaccountability, इसने इतने resources ले लिए हैं कि जो पैसे जाने चाहिए थे इन रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट, जो इसमें जाना चाहिए था, वो सारे पैसे लोगों के पर्सनल वेल्थ बन चुके। लास्ट मंथ आई वॉज अपने ही क्लास में वन फ्रेंड केम हु इज अ सीनियर इनकम टैक्स ऑफिसर. आई विल नॉट टेक द नेम ऑफ द सम IAS ऑफिसर्स. दे वेयर लुकिंग एट द IAS ऑफिसर्स जो सब्सटेंशियली कम करप्ट है पुराने ज़माने से के, उनकी वेल्थ है 1000 CR प्लस, फाइन, 1000 करोड़ प्लस. करप्ट है तो फिर 2000 4000 करोड़ एक्सेट्रा समथिंग. They don't show this, that is the problem. They don't enjoy this, that is the second problem. Money, greed. क्या करेंगे? सिर्फ नए नए फोन्स लेंगे, नए नए घर लेंगे, किसी और के नाम पे, वहाँ पे नौकर एंजॉय करेंगे, वो खुद नहीं एंजॉय कर सकते. They will be having farm houses which they will go. Their children may go for education. Their children may have software companies or businesses, but nothing they can enjoy on this. And इसीलिए I am talking to one senior UP का ही only officer. So इसीलिए that 50 साल के बाद डायबिटीज़, ब्लड प्रेशर की गोलियां शुरू हो जाती है उन लोगों को. एंड इतनी ज़्यादा वेल्थ है कि मोस्ट ऑफ द चिल्ड्रन आर इधर अल्कोहल एडिक्ट्स और ड्रग एडिक्ट्स, बिकॉज दे डोंट हैव टू स्ट्रगल. फाइन. विच इज़ द बिगेस्ट चैलेंज बिफोर मोदी गवर्नमेंट, जो उसको ये सिस्टम बंद करना है. अब वो कर पाएगा कि नहीं, दैट इज इटसेल्फ इज अ मेजर थिंग. होल सिस्टम इज लाइक दिस. सो जो एजुकेशन में जाना चाहिए था पैसे, जो रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट में जाना चाहिए था, वो चला गया है इन प्राइवेट होम्स. फाइन, अंडरस्टैंडिंग. बट प्रॉब्लम इज ये गवर्नमेंट इज वेरी श्रूड. फाइन. इफ यू आर लिस्टनिंग टू द आइडियोलॉजी ऑफ RSS, जो भी उनकी लॉन्ग टर्म आइडियोलॉजी होगी, सी मेनी थिंग्स इनसाइड की बातें हमें पता नहीं होती. फाइन. अगर आप उनके फॉलोअर हो गए, आइडियोलॉजी हो गई और उन्होंने जो कहा वो किया, तो यू आर सेफ. अगर उनकी आइडियोलॉजी नहीं फॉलो कर रहे तो लिस्ट है उनके पास, क्या किया आपने पिछले साल में, देश की तरक्की या खुद की तरक्की. वेदर यू हैव वर्क फॉर द कंट्री, देन यू विल लैंड अप इन जेल. सो इसलिए बहुत ज़्यादा टेरर है इन द सर्विसेज. दिस इज ऑल्सो फॉर्म ऑफ करप्शन. That is what he was saying. This is also a form of corruption. And he is one of the few people who, after being 12 years in service, ऐसे उनके बैच में 12 लोग हैं, don't take a single rupee. Whatever is the salary, उसमें वो गुजारा करते हैं. And therefore, he was leading the team of against Kamal Nath in Madhya Pradesh, against XYZ IAS officer in this thing. So. Because this things are there. So आज भी he is so simple that he comes sometimes after your class, many times वो बताएगा भी नहीं, बाहर खड़ा रहेगा. Then we go and have tea at our old place. So if I go to the market near Anil Chai Wala, many people will know us. So we go to New Rajendra Nagar. If you go inside the lane, there is one, our old chai wala is there. We have chai there sitting in the garden, and then he tells me these things which are there. That is the. So India as a civilization has failed. Fine, China as a civilization has survived. One of the reason is accountability, corruption. इसलिए हम इन सब चीज़ों में गए ही नहीं. हम अभी भी उलझे हैं उन बेसिक चीज़ों में ही. मंदिर, मस्जिद, understanding in these issues. We have not gone beyond that. Cow protection or not protection, beef खाना चाहिए या नहीं खाना चाहिए. Getting it? So इसीलिए मैडम says, when I ask the same question to ma'am कि क्या करना चाहिए इंडिया ने, looking at the trade war between India and China, USA and China, madam says there is an old saying in geopolitics because of famous political science, when two elephants are fighting, grass will always get crushed if it gets in the way. So India is a grass. यूपीएससी के आंसर्स लिखते समय बात अलग है कि हमने ये करना चाहिए, इंडिया ने कुछ नहीं करना चाहिए. कल ही इस क्वेश्चन का आंसर दिया था, इंडिया शुड लर्न लाइक अ निम्बल स्टेट. what see Uday Bhaskar said, इंडिया अभी ऐसे सिचुएशन में कभी ज़रूरत पड़ी तो यूएसए के पास जाओ, कभी ज़रूरत पड़ी तो चाइना के पास जाओ, बट दोनों से पंगे मत लो, डोंट फाइट विद देम, राइट? सो दिस इज व्हाट इंडिया शुड डू. जवाहरलाल नेहरू की पॉलिसी नॉन अलाइंड, you have to remain non-aligned now. If you go into any grouping, you will be crushed.
Sometimes we are always doing this thing since the time we ruled like India. Okay.
No, no, we were doing this thing till Indira Gandhi. It was successful. Indira Gandhi से till Modi, there was so vacuum in the leadership कि उसका repercussions अभी रहेगा, except for Rajiv Gandhi का some years when he became friends with China. उसके बाद you see the prime ministers, they were not strong personalities. Now Modi, if he decides to take a stand, India has become weak over the period of time. He cannot take a stand. So till the time India becomes a strong country, India will have to do this, sway between this. Prime ministers भी तो उतने strong होने चाहिए, right? So after Indira Gandhi, tell me a strong prime minister you had. Vajpayee when he came, तब तो liberalization, privatization, globalization था. Narasimha Rao when he came, he was focusing on economic reforms. He was the prime minister who was not accepted by the own party. उसके बाद फिर से vacuum in the leadership. Fine. So this is what is the heartland and the rimland concept. अभी हम कर रहे हैं, for example, when China is coming towards Doklam, heartland, fine? Doklam Plateau, Aksai Chin, etc. That is the heartland. And you see, prior to Indo-China war, 1972 का war, 1962 का war, India was much better. जितने भी पुराने you see the indicators, Indian indicators of development were much better than the Chinese indicator. ये पिछले 30 साल में हुआ है that China has suddenly gone up. उसका one reason has been one child policy, control of population. That is one of the biggest single reason why China has suddenly gone up. And second is single party dictatorship, which controls the means of production. हमारा multi party system में, and then therefore what the question came, that's why Subhash Chandra Bose said, Indians are not fit for democracy. Let us first teach them discipline for next 10 years and then we'll give them democracy. That was the point of argument between. So that is why Bose का thought is, Bose knew कि हम ये chance को गमा देंगे. Till the time 1962 का war तक, we were the strong nation. We were much ahead of indicators. United Nations की seats किसको offer हुई थी? India और China? India. Fine? Who was projected as the world leader? Nehru or Mao? Nehru. But we lost in between. So, fine. I told you, ये subject एक बार ये शुरू हो गया, Darwin, it's very easy. Now you can put as many examples as you can. आप 200 words में खुद लिख सकते हो answer. Impact on urban geography. Impact on urban geography. Patrick Geddes, Mark Jefferson, Patrick Geddes, Mark Jefferson developed the idea of Darwin, or applied the idea of Darwin to the field of urban geography and showed how the field of urban geography and should how the urban areas, how the urban areas mature over the period of time from small villages to mega cities. Small villages to mega cities. फाइन, ये पैट्रिक गेडिस का कंसेप्ट है. मार्क जेफरसन का कंसेप्ट है सेंटर प्लेस थियरी. And primate city. Central place theory. Why Connaught Place only should be the Connaught Place? Why there could not have been any other area which would have been developed by Britishers as Connaught Place? Understanding? That is why, what is the central place theory? Central business district. Look at the ecology of a Connaught Place. Old Delhi. Fine? Railway station. So, इसको डेवलप किया एज अ कनॉट प्लेस. फिर उसको डेवलप किया एज अ ल्यूटन्स दिल्ली. एंड इसको यहाँ से रोड्स जाने दिए, यहाँ से रोड्स जाने दिए, यहाँ से रोड्स जाने दिए. सो उसका रीज़न इज यूरोपियंस यूज टू स्टे हियर इन द ल्यूटन्स दिल्ली. फाइन. दे यूज टू कम फॉर शॉपिंग हियर. ओल्ड दिल्ली में पुअर इंडियंस which used to give cheap labor, they will always stay near the home so that they don't spend extra money on travel. And plus, bahar se those people which used to come for shopping will always be preferring Connaught Place because railway station is nearby, New Delhi railway station. It requires understanding of human psychology etc. to design any city center. Fine. This is what is primate city. No need of writing. Let one city be made so big that it will attract people from the surrounding regions. As it attracts people from the surrounding region, the best of the brains, the best of the capital, the best of the labor, the best of money will come in this region and it will keep on developing. As it keeps on developing, फिर ये इतनी बड़ी हो जाएगी कि यहाँ से खुद ब खुद there will be backward linkages and thus small towns develop हो जाएंगे in the periphery of these cities. In the periphery of small towns, again tier 2 towns will develop and thus poverty will be removed from a country or from the city. Understanding? This is what is the primate city का concept. So दिल्ली को इतना powerful बनाओ कि there is फरीदाबाद, गुड़गांव, नोएडा, गाजियाबाद, सोनीपत, पानीपत, उसके बाद मेरठ, उसके बाद कानपुर, Lucknow, Gwalior, and thus this entire region becomes urbanized, and this is what is known as trickle down effect in economy. Fine? Which failed. But it has failed in India. It has failed in India. South India, there is no need. South India, there is no need. There is Visakhapatnam, there is Hyderabad, there is Chennai, there is Bangalore, there is Mysore, there is Coimbatore, there is Mangalore. North India may also this has been successful in North India. It has failed in East India. It is successful at many places. It is failed in East India because no city is near Kolkata in the terms of the Delhi has helped in creation of Gurgaon, Sonipat, Panipat, Chandigarh, etc. Mumbai has helped in the creation of Nasik, Pune, Aurangabad, etc. Bangalore, Mysore industrial triangle is there. But problem is Eastern India में Kolkata वहीं के वहीं रह गया. And therefore, because Kolkata is not developed, therefore Bihar and Northeast India and Orissa is not developed. So Bihar, Chhattisgarh, etc. is there as it is. Baki ka region has started developing. Understanding the primate city ka concept. So that's why we say primate city has failed in Eastern India. In spite. And the reasons are internal. See, ye theories hai. And these theories are applied in the field of geography where there are numerous uncertainties. So one Naxalism event can destroy the entire plan. Getting it? No. बांग्लादेशी इमिग्रेंट्स का प्रॉब्लम अभी है, पहले था पर वो अभी है. कोलकाता रीजन इज पॉलिटिक्स, लेफ्ट. कोलकाता लीनिंग टू लेफ्ट. यू आर फ्रॉम कोलकाता, बंगाल, वाराणसी. So anyone from Kolkata here? Bengali leaning to our left has destroyed the entire plan. Fine. वो romanticism with the left ideology, जिसमें deliberations बहुत होंगे, dialogues बहुत होंगे, सोच बहुत होगी, solution कुछ नहीं होंगे. And I am a strong critic of left ideology. Fine. So इसलिए मैं biased हो सकता हूँ. But वो है true. That is true also. That is true also. But that is some. What is the name of economist Nobel? अभी Banerjee, Sen, Tagore, Bose. That is true also. ये हुआ है from the time left has come. Fine. हरद गोविंद खुराना नहीं है, हरद गोविंद खुराना. Next, impact on cultural landscapes. The social Darwinism or environmental determinism focused on the influence of environment on the humans. Focused on environment into humans, but SOR, but focused on environment on humans, but Carl Sauer developed the concepts of cultural landscapes. Develop the concept of cultural landscapes. In which he tried to establish how humans have over the period of time evolved in a natural regions. How humans over the period of time have evolved in a natural regions. Natural regions, and converted the natural landscapes and have converted the natural landscapes into cultural landscapes, natural landscapes into the cultural landscapes. Thus, conclusion: geography experienced a paradigm shift. Geography experienced a paradigm shift. In which the subject became more socially and environmentally relevant, socially and environmentally relevant, the focus of making the discipline scientific, making the discipline scientific ultimately helped in more enrichment of the subject, especially during the second crisis period in 1950s. Second crisis period in 1950s, giving rise to quantitative revolution on systems analysis in geography. Fine. Systems analysis in geography. Quantitative revolution and systems analysis in geography. Have a brief genealogy of what we have done quickly. देख लो एक बार. आज के स्टार्ट से, फ्लो चार्ट से. cultural landscape, Indo-Gangetic region और एशिया माइनर, कुर्दिस्तान जहाँ कुर्द रहते हैं, आसियान जहाँ मोंगोलाइड पॉपुलेशन है, जहाँ की लाइफस्टाइल एक है, दैट इज व्हाट इज कल्चर. यहाँ पे पीपल विल, ग्रेट प्लेन्स ऑफ इंडिया इज द कल्चरल लैंडस्केप जहाँ कल्चर इज डिटरमाइनिंग. सो कार्ल सावर, यू कैन सी हियर द लास्ट वन, वो थोड़ा डिविएट हो गया. ही सेड नहीं, सिर्फ फिजिकल ज्योग्राफी इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं, इवन द कल्चर इज इंपॉर्टेंट. एंड ही विल ट्रेस हाउ आर्यन से लेके वैदिक, वैदिक से लेके अभी, how this area has developed, and this has resulted into one of the biggest cultural regions of the world. And he gave the concept of cultural landscape. We say Japanese culture, human geography. He is against determinism. He is against general physical geography. He is an human geography. Fine? But he is a follower of Darwin. Because वो determine करेगा हरप्पन से what happened to the Janpadas, then Vedic, and this is how it kept on developing. Fine? And ultimately it resulted into quantitative revolution. Quantitative revolution is our time, abhi. When we talk of remote sensing, when we talk of GIS, when we talk of cartography, this is what is quantitative revolution. When we talk of, have you ever seen a railway का traffic signals? कितनी trains आ रही है, कितनी जा रही है? Fine? That is what is quantitative revolution. When you use that entire data in space, fine? That is what is the quantitative revolution. Obviously with the help of computers. So we are right now living in the era of quantitative revolution. Getting it? You can see each and every part of our subject has been touched except climatology. Fine? इसीलिए we have seen climatology, jet streams, so सब all developed after quantitative revolution. That is after Second World War. इसमें climatology नहीं mentioned है. Culture. Evolution of culture. Evolution of anything is Darwin. How step by step there is an evolution. Fine? So take questions for this answers what we have written. It can come in the examination as first direct question. Examine the impact of Darwin in development of geography. Examine the impact of Darwin in the development of geography. I am not giving you word limit, वो किसी भी इसमें आ सकता है. Second, what is social Darwinism and its impact in geography? ये सब social Darwinism ही है. Geography is humans. Social Darwinism and its impact in geography. और थर्ड, तीनों का आंसर सेम है. फाइन? थर्ड, geography before Darwin. Geography before Darwin was in pre-paradigm state. कौन सा नजरिया लेना है वही नहीं पता था. Mine was in pre-paradigm state. But after the publication, there was paradigm shift in geography. Analyze. Fine? Analyze. एनालिसिस में थोड़ा हमें नेगेटिव्स लिखने पड़ेंगे जो ओवर द पीरियड ऑफ टाइम यू विल डेवलप, पॉसिबिलिज्म जब हम पढ़ेंगे तब. बट 80% ऑफ योर आंसर फॉर द लास्ट क्वेश्चन इज डन. ओनली थिंग व्हाट इज रिमेनिंग इज पॉसिबिलिज्म, how it objected to the determinism. Getting it? कौन सा? Theoretical types of question, to get marks you have to quote more thinkers. What? They publish, हाँ, publication. See how after the theory of Charles Darwin सब्जेक्ट आसान होते गया. उससे पहले यू सी हाउ यू आर इन कंफ्यूज स्टेट टिल यस्टरडे. कैंट क्या कह रहा है, हम्बोल्ट क्या कह रहा है, रिटर क्या कह रहा है, कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा. अब डायरेक्ट देयर इज एन एप्लीकेशन. अर्बन ज्योग्राफी पैट्रिक गेडिस, मार्क जेफरसन, यू कैन कोरिलेट. इंडस्ट्रियल लोकेशन थियरी वेबर, फाइन. लेबर थियरी सम अदर. देयर इज वन मोर थियरी ऑफ इंडस्ट्रियल लोकेशन, that is which is Losch model. So it is very objective now, and this is all because of the next topic. Prepare this only as a short note, that is the positivism. Positivism. What is positivism? What is positivism? What is the science? ये geography का concept नहीं है, philosophy है ये. What is positivist philosophy? If you remember, I have told you what is positivism. What is positivism? Facts. Positivism is facts. If you want to talk something, talk about facts. Fine? So positivism is a philosophical movement which puts emphasis on science, on scientific method, scientific methods as the only source of knowledge. As the only source of knowledge. वो कहता है, if you want to gain knowledge, tell me the facts. वो कहता है, I like this, I don't like this. For example, if you are a positivist, you will say, अच्छा लगता है, बुरा लगता है. If someone says, नहीं, ठीक ठाक लगता है, वो कहता, आप कहोगे भाग जाओगे. Yes or no? Fine? Like it or don't like it? Not to what degree you like, what degree you don't like. Degree is value. Like it or don't like is fact. वो कहता है talk in facts. Yes or no. Don't tell me about value. I may like it a little bit if this. It is value. Fine. Next, it was developed by Auguste. You have heard his name. Comte. Developed by Auguste Comte. Ethics है कि नहीं Auguste Comte? I don't know whether is there in ethics. It was developed by Auguste Comte in 1830s. Try to understand the linkages. Q Darwin ka publication was published in 1860s. Why there was more emphasis on science in 1860s? Because Auguste Comte was there in 1830s. As a reaction to disorder in the French society, as a reaction to disorder in the French society, due to negative philosophy, इसलिए इसका नाम positivism है. So your answer should be so simple कि examiner को ये complex चीज़ें समझ में आनी चाहिए. So you should mention negative philosophy. So there was a disorder, negativity in the society. क्यों? क्योंकि speculation था, ये करना चाहिए, वो करना चाहिए. There was arguments, there was speculation, and there was no search for practical answers. There was only speculation, and उससे there was a disorder. So against this he said, ये निकालो, tell me the practical answer for anything. Practical answer will come with facts, and therefore he says that is positivism. Understanding why the name is positivism? It has nothing to do with positive thinking. It has to do with searching for the practical answers. The negative philosophy was romantic, and speculative. Why romanticism is considered as a negative philosophy? You must have girlfriends or boyfriends, fine? When you are talking in a romantic manner, do you have any solutions, or you are building castles in the air? Castles in the air, fine? That is why romanticism is negative. हाँ, हम ये करेंगे, वो करेंगे, ऐसे करेंगे, वैसे करेंगे, यहाँ घूमने जाएंगे, वहाँ घूमने जाएंगे, but you don't have money in your pocket to do anything, fine? You are not finding practical answers. कि चलो भी phone रखते हैं, WhatsApp delete करते हैं, 3 साल एक दूसरे से नहीं मिलते, UPSC का rank निकालते हैं, and then we will think क्या करना है. That is positivism, fine? Building castles in the air is romanticism. Understanding? Next. The positivist consider humanities and philosophy as negative philosophies, since they are neither, cancel the word humanities, कोई offend हो जाएगा, philosophy, or let it be, they positivist considers humanities subject and philosophy as negative because neither they are constructive nor practical. वो कहते हैं their solutions are utopian. What do you mean by utopian? Ideal, which is not found in real life. Utopian solutions है. Next. Thus it is anti-idealism. It is anti-idealism. because normative values, because norms दो चीजें होती है, फैक्ट्स, नॉर्म्स. नॉर्म इज एटीट्यूड, पर्सनैलिटी, वैल्यू, एथिक्स, मोरालिटी, जिसको मेजर नहीं किया जा सकता. यू कैन नॉट मेजर देम. फैक्ट्स आर हॉट, कोल्ड, फाइन, क्राइम, growth, poverty, which can be measured. Because norms such as values, belief, customs, traditions, cannot be measured. Cannot be measured. Fine? And इसलिए कहता है कि like other scientists, philosophers, public administration should not waste time on these things. इनसे कभी solution नहीं मिलेगा. You should look at finding the practical questions. Fine? Understanding? So this theory says that geographer हो, sociologist हो, policy makers हो, you should not go into this. इनसे कभी कुछ नहीं होने वाला. इनसे speculation बढ़ते जाएगा, practical solutions नहीं मिलेंगे, and you are just delaying the thing. So next, as per positivism, geographers, philosophers, should not concern themselves with such speculative methods. Should not concern themselves with such speculative methods. But should focus on giving practical solutions. But should focus on giving practical solutions based on facts. Based on facts. Based on facts. Because वो कहता है facts is reality, बाकी का is speculation. Fine? God है या नहीं है उसके ऊपर bother मत करो, अच्छी जिंदगी जियो. That is positivism. Fine? So it is telling whether God is there or not, don't bother it. You are wasting time. It is telling whether there is a human rights or not, don't bother about it. You are wasting time. It is telling whether there is ethics or not, empathy, sympathy, you are wasting time. Don't bother about it. If you live yourself properly, there will be all humanity, there will be rights, there will be this thing. So हमेशा positivism is anti-establishment. याद रखना, positivism is always anti-establishment. See, because you are a student of geographers, you will find some of these topics bit this thing. Now, what is establishment? I have to go in the background. Establishment is something that controls you, right? You feel you all are free, but none of us are free, fine? They will tell before you कि ये 4 कैंडिडेट है, इनमें से वोट दो, आपको लगेगा आप डेमोक्रेसी में जी रहे हो, and you have right to speech. Nothing is this. You write anything on the Facebook, Instagram, this thing, you will land up in jail. You are not at all free. You are in the delusion that you are free. Fine? The only thing is degree of freedom थोड़ा communism से ज़्यादा in democracy. But can you determine in democracy कि कौन सा candidate खड़ा रहेगा? Can you tell the government कि नहीं नहीं ये law pass करो? Or does the government passes a law after taking the व्यू ऑफ ऑल द पीपल और ओनली 350 people who are sitting there, and उसमें से 50% who are illiterate. Fine, 350 में से 50% are illiterate, remaining 25% have criminal background. Fine. So we all feel that we are in the free society. There is no free society such. ये world जो है, this what thinking I am telling you is known as the post truth world. It comes from positivism. ये सब बकवास है. Fine, democracy, free market, free economy, inclusive growth, ये सब बकवास है. This is what they are saying. Getting it? So positivism says there is only one reality, that is science. For science to applicable, you should leave God or other questions that are based on norms. For science to be applicable, there has to be general law. Understanding? Generalization. And there has to be system कि input दो ये output मिलेगा. And then philosophers, geographers, political scientists, everything should just focus on these things and leave the rest of the things to themselves. Right? So positivism defined what is science. Science का definition up was applied to geography. Geography became a systematic science, and then ultimately it all culminated in quantitative revolution कि जेट स्ट्रीम्स यहाँ से आ जाती है. वाई? बिकॉज देर इज अ टेम्परेचर डिफरेंस. यही अगर स्पेकुलेशन होता तो इमेजिन करो, कोई कहता नहीं ये गर्म है, ऊपर जाते जाते ठंडा हो रहा है. कोई कहता नहीं नहीं आप कभी ऊपर जाके देखा है, मैंने देखा है ऊपर जाके जो ठंडा नहीं गर्म हो रहा है. स्पेकुलेशन. कहीं हम सॉल्यूशंस पे ही नहीं आते. सो सॉल्यूशंस इफ यू वांट, यू हैव टू बी पॉजिटिव. फाइन. नेक्स्ट पॉइंट. Science is concerned with facts. Science is concerned with facts, and therefore objects. See, ये सब words वहाँ से आया. Humanities are subjective. Science is objective. What do you mean? Anything that is concerned with object. Object can be determined, and therefore science is objective. See, I am not talking here science in the terms of physics, chemistry, maths, etc. Science can be anything that is objective. So here we have two people who are not from the science background, commerce background, but that is objective. Accounting है, ये ऐसे ऐसे करो. Fine? Getting it? Next. And therefore, positivism is based on 5 pillars. Positivism is based on 5 pillars. Positivism is based on 5 pillars. That is, 1, empiricism. What is empiricism? One that can be observed or felt. Empirical. Geography is empirical. Empiricism means which can be felt by observation. Empiricism. I cannot feel water inside. I can feel the bottle. Fine? Empiricism. That is one which is accessible and observable. Second, exclusion of normative questions. Exclusion of normative questions. Because they cannot be measured. Because they cannot be measured. Third, unified scientific method. Unified scientific method. Same method. You go to the chemistry lab, you take the test tube and you do the measurement. If you want to do any measurement, whether it is a rod or a ball, you have to take the scale or a thread and do the measurement. This is what is the unified scientific method. Fine? That next, universal scientific laws. Universal scientific laws. Law of gravity will apply everywhere same. It will not be different for apple in India versus apple in Europe. This is what is known as universal scientific laws. And fifth, formulation of scientific laws. Based on formulation of scientific laws, based on their verification and proofs. Based on their verification and proofs. Fine? 1 plus 1 is always 2. That is a universal scientific law. Getting it? No matter wherever it is, frictional force is going to reduce the speed, whether it is of the wind or a car. That is a universal scientific law. If you can understand the frictional force, you can tell about the jet streams, you can tell about the bullet trains, or you can tell about the hyperloop. Friction कम करते जाओ, speed बढ़ेगी. Getting it? Understanding? So most of the time, expressways are built by cement roads, concrete roads. एक तो उसकी लाइफ ज़्यादा है, सेकेंड फ्रिक्शन ज़्यादा है, तो गाड़ी की स्टेबिलिटी इन हाई स्पीड इज मोर. On the tar road, friction is less, and therefore at very high speeds the car can. Universal scientific law है. Getting it? Next. The school of positivism. The school of positivism influenced many subjects including geography. Influenced many subjects including geography. In 1930s, the positivists formed a famous grouping. Positivists formed a famous grouping known as Vienna Circle. Known as Vienna Circle. Vienna Circle, which had many famous geographers, Next, positivism is always anti authority. Positivism is always anti authority. Positivist, yeah. Next point, contributions. Focus on value free. Focus on value free solutions. Solutions. Value free, comma, technical solutions. Led to development of value free technical solutions. Led to development of numerous models in geography. Numerous models in geography based on locational analysis. Locational analysis such as primate city rule. किसका? जेफरसन. Industrial location theory. Weber, by Weber. Gravity model. And distance decay model. You all know gravity model. The only thing is GS में आप gravity model को पढ़ते हो as pull factors of migration and दूसरी जगह as push factors of migration. This is what is gravity model. A person will migrate from one place to another if the pull of a place is greater than the push of a region. You have migrated to Delhi because you feel you get attracted towards Delhi because of your goal. That is what is the gravity model. Fine. Distance decay model. Farther you are there, and if there are too many obstacles here, you may decide against not migrating. Yes, sir. Understanding? If you want to migrate from place A to place B, but यहाँ जाने के फायदे कम है और यहाँ जाने के obstacles बहुत ज़्यादा है, तो you decide you will not migrate. That is what is known as distance decay principle. Means it says that greater the distance between the two places, lesser will be the migration. Lesser the distance between the two places, greater will be the migration. That is what is the distance. ये है सब positivist. Means you can take any model which is given in last chapter of paper 1 and write इसका examples. All this is what is positivism. What is your syllabus का last chapter is the impact of positivism in geography. Mackinder का model, etc. Cause and effect. Negatives. Sorry. Second positive. This made the subject simple. This made the subject simple. More practical, more practical, practical. Who is concerned with whether the earth is a man का earth or no, home or not? You are more concerned with आज बारिश होने वाली है या नहीं, मेरे को इस सॉइल में से कितना क्रॉप मिलेगा. That is what is more known as practical. And have given the predictive value, have given predictive value, given predictive value. प्रेडिक्शन कर सकते हो आप. फाइन. वियना सर्कल का वन ऑफ द साइंटिस्ट इज नोन एज नॉर्मन बोरलॉग, who ultimately helped in green revolution. That is the importance of positivism. ठीक है, there is a hunger, but how many philosophies you will make on hunger? Tell उसका solution. Solution is green revolution. Fine. MS स्वामीनाथन वियना सर्कल से influenced है. Albert Einstein. These all were the people of Vienna circle. Bertland. Who is Bertland? The one who gave the definition of sustainable development. ये सब वियना सर्कल के लोग हैं. Limits to growth theory. Fine. A group of scientists जिनके नाम अभी अभी रिलीज हो रहे. Why? Because had their name be released that time, Hitler used to kill them in Nazi Germany, because most of the scientists were from Germany. You can see any subject, and if they were against authority, they were against Hitler. Right? Next, negatives. क्या है negatives? What is the negative of positivism? Yes. The negative of positivism is human being is not value free. You are making laws on humans, at least in geography, and you are saying कि नहीं value free है. मुझे बटन दे दो, I will start teaching geography. बटन ऑफ कर दो, I will stop teaching geography. ऐसा नहीं है. कभी कभी मेरा मूड होता है 1.5 घंटे की क्लास, कभी कभी मूड होता है 3 घंटे की क्लास. राइट. दिस इज व्हाट इज द प्रॉब्लम ऑफ पॉजिटिविज्म. सो पॉइंट 1, geography, especially human geography, especially human geography, cannot be value free and objective. Because human behavior cannot be reduced to a stimulus response system. Button dabao, you will get the desired response output. Cannot be reduced to stimulus response system. Fine. Therefore, behavioralism and humanistic geography, not human geography, humanistic geography, developed against positivism. Second, Positivism is based on empiricism. Empiricism means observation. For observation, it has to be value free. थोड़ा दिमाग लगाओ. Observing how chemical reaction is taking place, you will observe it very properly. Observing how a physical reaction, yeah, atoms, etc. is working, you will observe it very normally. But observing in any social sciences, fine, if you are observing a tribe, you may develop an affinity for the tribe or you may develop hatred for the tribe. If you are observing some person, based on your individual prejudice, you may like the person, you may not like the person, and usse aapka affect karega. What I mean to say is social sciences such as geography, sociology, history can never be value neutral or value free, and therefore it has limited application. And there are numerous studies to show you. Fine. Example, positivism, say, take an example. Whether Modi government has done a good job or bad job. Answer is controversial. Why? Because you are not dealing with atom and molecule, you are dealing with government, which is human. Right? That is the second problem. Value-free research. Value-free research. Is not always possible. हमें ऐसे मत लिखो impossible है, is not always possible. In social sciences, including geography, not always possible in social sciences, including geography, and therefore there will always be certain degree of subjectivity. Always certain degree of subjectivity. Full stop. This is because such subjects deal with man or humans, such subjects deal with man or humans who cannot be taken as a thing. ये एक साइंटिस्ट की लाइन है, who cannot be taken as a thing. ऐसे लिखो थिंग, बिकॉज मैन हैज ब्रेन and thinking power, because man has brain and thinking power. Next, critics argue that positivism especially in geography, models and theories, especially in geography, advocates the language of geometry. Advocates the language of geometry. कैसे? इंडस्ट्रियल लोकेशन ट्रायंगल, प्राइमेट सिटी रूल, ये क्या है? लैंग्वेज इन फाइन. Example, industrial location triangle. They will draw a triangle and they show how the industries will be located. They will show urban planning by circles. Fine. Or Take an example is industrial location triangle. Industrial location triangle. And but the language of geometry is not acceptable to explain, is not acceptable to explain man human relationship. Explain man human relationship, which is a major theme of geography. Human relationship, which is a major thing of geography. See, ये है geometrical language, which is a major theme of geography. ये है geometrical language. This is one model which is known as Hewitt's internal structure of the cities. वो कहता है कि यहाँ पे CBD होनी चाहिए, मतलब central business district. Wholesale and light manufacturing should be here. Who will work in wholesale? Poor people, mostly, as a labor. So low class housing will be just near the wholesale. Fine? So that they don't have to travel extra distance. Plus, this will be polluted region, and hence, people will be staying here. रास्ता जाएगा ऐसा, रास्ता जाएगा ऐसा, रास्ता जाएगा ऐसा. Very far away, along the main road, high class residential society, and just surrounding the high class residential society, filling the gap between the low class housing and the high class housing is the medium class. So this person will be working as a domestic worker also, or as an industrial laborer also. This person will be working here, right, in high class. ये है language of geometry. This is another model, Burgess model. This is the third model. So more or less they are the language of geometry only. And the last criticism, it is said that positivism and quantitative revolution the quantitative revolution advocates capitalism. In which there is exploitation of humans and environment. Advocates capitalism in which there is a exploitation of humans and environment. एक्सप्लॉयटेशन है कि नहीं? Why they say poor people should be living there? Because that area is filthy, that area is polluted, air is polluted, water is polluted, etc. और XYZ जगह इंडस्ट्री सेटअप कर दो और यहाँ से सारे रिसोर्सेस लेके आओ. फाइन. सो कंक्लूजन, रेफर क्वांटिटेटिव रिवोल्यूशन. अभी कंक्लूजन नहीं लिखाऊंगा, पर वहां पे लिखना रेफर क्वांटिटेटिव रिवोल्यूशन. सो बिफोर आई एंड विद द पॉजिटिविज्म, what things should be compulsory in the answer. Baki choice is yours, you can make your own story. August Comte has to be there, fine. Against speculation has to be there, एंड 5 पिलर्स होने चाहिए. 5 पिलर्स बहुत अच्छे, बहुत इजी है. इफ यू ट्राई टू लुक एट देम ऑब्जेक्टिवली, कि क्या ऑब्जर्व करो, एम्पिरिसिज्म, फिर लॉ को फॉर्मुलेट करो, फॉर्मुलेशन ऑफ द लॉज, देन देयर शुड बी यूनिटी ऑफ साइंटिफिक मेथड्स, then there should be universal application of the laws, and fifth, there should be no normative questions. See, for example, you go to any place, you observe, and observation के बाद क्या क्या लिखना चाहिए, क्या क्या नहीं लिखना चाहिए, there should be unification of scientific method. फिर you formulate the law, then you apply it to the universal laws, and then there should be normative questions outside. And last में you have to tell that positivism is related to quantitative revolution. Fine? है हिम्मत और? Okay, then tomorrow. रिवाइज इट ऑन द डेली बेसिस जब तक थॉट चल रहा है, बस ये थोड़ा कंफ्यूजिंग पार्ट है. फाइन. बट कल 7:30 तक आना, टुमारो. आई विल गिव अ ब्रेक इन बिटवीन.